So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening from whichever part of the world you're joining this webinar and the product launch from. So, this is Praveen.ai, and I'm going to be the host for the entire evening, right? Okay, I just wanted to do a pulse check to see I'm not an AI. And that being said, this is Praveen Sridhar. Uh, I'm the Chief Delivery and Experience Officer at Netcore. And today it's going to be a very, very exciting afternoon, evening, whatever it is, because today we're going to talk about a lot of things around agentic AI, AI being used as agents. And I'll tell you why we are starting with this, because this is going to be a movement going forward. I've been talking to almost 300 to 400 marketers in the last 3 months. And believe me, almost 99% of people tell me that, you know what, I've already started using agents, AI agents in my work, or I've been training myself to use at least one AI agent in my life. Right. So that tells us how important agentic AI is and AI per se is in our lives today. And today at Netcore at Edge 2025, which is our product event, we're going to talk a lot on AI and agentic AI. To be very specific, I would say the number of registrations what we have got for this event has been almost 400% more than what we got for our last product event. And that tells us how serious marketers are about agentic AI and AI as a whole. And today, we're going to quickly start with what Netcore is all about. It's all about scale. This is a self-explanatory slide. I don't want to talk much about this. We have been growing leaps and bounds thanks to all our customers who have been helping us. And we have been present in almost 40 countries globally. And every single country is equally important for us. And we have been seeing great traction happening from each and every country of ours. And this is a very, very important slide of ours, very close to me, because almost 500 plus global brands have been migrated to Netcore in the last 12 months, which is huge. And again, thanks to all the love, all the customers, and all the potentials have been showing for Netcore. Awards and recognitions, we have been given the Premier Partner Award from Google Cloud as well. And there are a bunch of other recognitions what we have been getting for the entire year. I think it's the time for me to bring in the first speaker for the event. And he is none other than Rajesh Jain, who is our managing director for Netcore. And he's someone who has been the earliest adopter of AI, I would say. And he's the one who's been pushing every single one at Netcore to be adopting AI left, right, and center. Right? He's been somebody who's been inspiring us every single day with the energy what he has, and he writes blogs every day. Right? So over to you, Rajesh.
Hi everyone, Rajesh here. So today what we are going to do is in the next 15 odd minutes, I want to talk to you about how to transform your marketing from being a cost center to a profit engine. Essentially, the idea is how do you stop paying the 20 to 30% uh, revenue tax to ad techs and marketplaces? How can you stop reacquiring customers? How can you target rule of 40 for systematic, sustainable, profitable growth? And how do you maximize the best customers, double the ones in the middle, the rest customers, slash the waste via AI agents, Trojancy, and Neo moments? You'll hear about this in the coming minutes. So this may seem like mission impossible, profitable growth, rule of 40, etc. But a lot of these ideas that we are seeing right now were all mission impossibles once upon a time until they became inevitable one day. Marketing's mission impossible. CMOs deliver growth, CFOs demand profits, and CEOs want both. So, can profitable growth go from being mission impossible to becoming inevitable? And if you have to measure systematic, sustainable, profitable growth, I think the best metric is the rule of 40, very common in the world of SaaS. I think it should become core for every business. Revenue growth percentage plus the profit slash EBITDA margin should be greater than 40. So mentally calculate in your business what it is. Now let's look at three public companies. So this is all from public data, just rounded off the numbers. Nykaa, First Cry, Mamaearth. So Nykaa is at 30, 24 plus 6. First Cry is at 23, 18 plus 5. And Mamaearth is at 11. So maybe the rule of 40 is not as easy as we think it is. And one of the big reasons for this, if I were to decipher from their publicly available financial statements, is the marketing spends for each of these companies and how that has been growing. And what's very interesting to note is that for all these three companies, the marketing spend FY24 to 25 grew faster than revenues. And that I think is a big challenge for any company. So why is rule of 40 profitable growth seems like mission impossible? The biggest reason I think is this. Instead of focusing on existing customers, the continuous focus is on new customers. You highlighted that in the poll on retention. And a lot of the new customers are actually ex-customers. And when you look at the reality of performance marketing today, I think it is all about ad waste. So this is my understanding from lots of conversations. 10% is spent on CRM and retention, but 90% goes towards acquisition of new customers. 20% only is being spent on first-time new customers. 70 of the 90 is basically retargeting, reacquiring existing customers, and that is what I term as ad waste. So it's reacquisition, which is the single biggest hurdle for profitable growth. These are effectively customers you already know, but because you've not built up the deep relationships, you've not done retention well, they go away. And then they were good customers once upon a time, and we are paying to retarget them, reacquire them again and again. In fact, ad waste is the biggest profit killer. 70% of advertising budgets, like we just discussed, globally 500 billion, India about 10 billion, are essentially going towards ad waste. Now imagine the ad waste money as an add-on to your EBITDA. That's really the opportunity, as we'll see. And I'll show you how you can make that happen. Now, I spoke about revenue taxes. So revenue taxes hurt profitable growth. And every brand, you're paying one or more of these. 20 to 30% of your revenues are going out in either payouts to ad tech platforms for acquisitions, Google, Meta, and the likes, marketplace commissions, if you do not have your own properties, and discounts to existing customers. The 40, 50, 60% ones who are one and done. They bought once, they've not bought again. You're giving them discounts to get them to buy again. All of these hurt profitable growth. So how do we make rule of 40 inevitable? And the key in this lies on shifting the mindset from old marketing to neo marketing. The only way for systematic, sustainable, profitable growth is to change our marketing sort of priors, change how we think about marketing. And the term I want everyone to take away is really neo marketing. Now, neo marketing's three big shifts. First one, go from paid media to owned attention. So you don't have to keep going back again and again, whether it's marketplaces or whether it's the ad tech channels. Second is go from reacquisition to retention, and from fragmented tools, where data gets siloed, to agentic AI platforms. And I'll talk a little about this, and you'll see a lot more of this going forward. So old marketing's goal for all these years, performance marketing for the last 20 years, has been about acquiring more customers through volume and transactions, despite increasing CAC. Everyone complains about CAC, but everyone pays up at the end. Neo marketing's goal is to grow customer LTV through retention, engagement, and profitable relationships. And we will see there are three big innovations which are now able, where you will be now able to make this happen. And these are the three big breakthroughs. Agents, and it's not just a single agent, it's a collective, multiple agents working together, what we call an AI agents collective, which can help drive one-to-one personalization at scale. a new type of agency, what I call progency, which really brings in an outcome-based business model. And how do you drive attention? So neo moments to drive daily engagement hotlines, because without hotlines, you aren't going to be able to get people back to your properties for transactions. And the foundational requirements for these, you need a unified stack to be able to get all the intelligence together, unified intelligence, so you get a single customer view across all touch points. You must be able to identify every customer coming on your properties, website, app, etc. So collect mobile and email ID. So you have two channels that you can engage them with, you can reach them. And finally, segment by lifetime value, forward-looking lifetime value, not just on the past. And this is what I call the best, rest, test, next framework. So best customers typically will be 20% delivering 60%. The ones in the middle, rest, 40% customers delivering about 30%. And then you have the one and dones, the test customers, delivering perhaps 10% of revenue, and then the new customers, which are the next customers. But this is a very good framework. You see the power law curve. The area under the curve really is your revenue. X-axis is customers, Y-axis is LTV. So different customers, different problems, different solutions. Your best customers are at least on average 3x more valuable than the rest. They are 12x more valuable than the test customers. And even the rest customers are 4x more valuable than test customers. One size fits all marketing is dead. Look at the campaigns that you're doing. Typically, it's maybe last 30-day, 90-day engagers. We are sending the same message out, broadcast, easily done, but that's not the answer. The best need hyper-personalization to maximize lifetime value. The ones in the middle, rest customers, need engagement to prevent their churn to the test customers. And the test, the one and done, need cost-effective reacquisition to minimize CAC. And the solutions play out for the three like this. The problem, not for me, lack of personalization, where you have the AI agents collective, which will help you. Who will do it? For the ones in the middle, this is where the progency comes in. And neo moments to drive attention to solve the no hotlines problem from the test customers. So maximize the best, double the rest, and slash the waste. That is the mantra for growth. Now let's look quickly at each of these solutions. So AI agents collective, and you'll hear a lot about this today. Maximize the revenue from your best customers. So this is Netcore's AI agent collective system. So it's not just a single agent. You'll have lots of entities, companies giving you single agents for this and that. The magic really happens when all these agents work together in unison. In our case, the co-marketer drives the engagement, and you will see this in action shortly. And what this does is, instead of just focusing on operational efficiency, it lets you make the impossible real. Creating hundreds of segments, creating content for each of these segments. This is what no size of marketing team can do. This is where the AI agents collective comes into play. AI twins, another form of agents, essentially bring in customer insights and understanding. And here we work with our partner consumer.ai/profit wheel to help build this out. Imagine having AI twins of your best customers, of your segments, to be able to converse with them, bringing together ad tech data, martech data, product catalog, feedback together. And in a world of tomorrow, you will have AI agents talk to each other. An AI twin of your customer will talk to an AI co-marketer and tell the requests. Next, progency, to double the revenue from the rest customers. And these are many times ignored customers. MarTech today is not geared to handle this middle segment. MarTech is all software, no success. In SaaS, we have software as a service, but it's basically become software without service. Priced on inputs, not outcomes, not linked to performance. The platform features remain unused, and it's a daily drudgery for marketers, marketing teams, segments, journeys. So they may have 10 million customers, but they just get a handful of customer segments, not good enough. So you have wasted investment, missed opportunities, and subpar retention that slows growth and drains profits. And this is where Progency comes in. It combines product plus AI agents plus agency, leveraging what I call the peak framework. So done for you with an agency of agents, a unified stack, experts who drive the guidance, AI agents, which we just saw, who can help bring in the scale and always on execution and continuous improvement. And this is where an outcome-based pricing model helps drive the profit engine going forward. So Progency transforms your underperforming customer, the infrequent buyers, the qualified leads gone cold, into your biggest growth engine. And it only earns when you earn. It's a revolutionary model, which you will hear more about as we go forward in the coming months. And finally, Neo Moments. How do you slash the reacquisition ad waste? Attention is upstream of everything. Engagement, transactions. Without attention, you can't get people back to your properties. A wonderful book which came out about a decade ago by Byron Sharp, which basically talked about that if you want to be able to grow your brand and the transactions, you need both physical availability and mental salience. And I translate mental salience into those daily moments where people can engage, see your logo, जो दिखता है वो बिकता है, that type of stuff. So reactivation rather than reacquisition. The attention recession problem solved by creating a hotline. And that's what I call the brand daily. Visibility, engagement, top of mind recall, make your brand a daily habit, 15 seconds, 60 seconds, so that when they want to buy, you are in front of them. You need these magnets in these messages to be able to help make this happen. So Neo Marketing's profit engineering is what will drive the 10 plus point profit margin gains from the revenue taxes that you're paying. Eliminate the revenue taxes, move them to your EBITDA line, and you see the magic it does to your P&L. And let's take an example. You have profit margin, a profit engineering example here today. So let's say your revenues at 100, gross margin is 50, salaries ops take up 25, marketing takes up 15, and maybe your EBITDA is basically 10% of the 100. After that, after you deploy Neo Marketing ideas, your revenue grows by 20%. Your GM comes to 60. Marketing costs actually can go down because you're eliminating the ad waste. So slash the waste, improve the profits, and you look at what it doubles, basically your profits which are there. So in simple terms, it gets you to the rule of 40, 20% profit growth, 21% profit margin to give you a 41 on the rule of 40. This is systematic, sustainable, profitable growth. To summarize, think of Neo Marketing. It will be the only path for driving your profitable growth. It converts marketing from a cost center to a profit engine, and it can drive rule of 40 performance, which is key for the sustainability of the profitable growth. The playbook that we discussed, unified intelligence, the ability to identify every customer, segment by lifetime value, maximize the best through AI agents collective, double the rest through Progency, slash the waste with the idea of Neo Moments to get attention. And this is represented through the BRT power law curve that I spoke to you about. Maximize the best, grow the rest, revenues from the rest, and you then get the test customers. Slash the CAC, minimize basically what you're spending on reacquisition for them through Neo Moments. And you start moving customers towards the left. So there's a lot more. I write, like I said, Praveen said, every day. The Neo Marketing ideas, you can get it in sort of 75 bullet points. I've got 200 plus essays on my blog at rajeshjain.com. So to sum up, in the end, if you want to get away from the red ocean, okay, of competition, of the sharks that you see, to the blue ocean, make the mental shift and the product shift from old marketing to Neo Marketing, brought to you by Netcore. Thank you very much. Back to you, Praveen.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ajay. And so people who have been listening and hearing and seeing this, if you think that this is the movie, let me tell you this, right? RJ just showed you the trailer. So there is so much to actually cover, and there is so much to show and tell. And we are really, really excited about this event. Perfect. So that brings me to the next session for the event. And I would say this is one of my favorite sessions, right? While the entire event, we're going to talk about AI acronyms, we're going to talk about feature launches, we're going to talk about product roadmaps and stuff. But this is the session where it's going to be real brands coming and talking about the real success and real numbers, and maybe not so secret sauce of the growth as well. So the first speaker we have is from Bajaj Markets. He heads the digital marketing, Siddharth Ananth. And very sorry, Siddharth, I had to stalk you on LinkedIn. And I was able to see that you have an experience of 20 years in marketing, and out of which 6 years is with Bajaj Markets itself. So very, very excited to learn more from you. So over to you, Siddharth.
Hi. Thank you, Sridhar, for the kind introduction. Hello everyone. My name is Siddharth. I head digital platforms at Bajaj Markets. At Bajaj Markets, specifically, we are almost at 90% plus in our content operations, and one of the what we have seen is that over the last 2 to 3 years, what we have achieved is basically our content operations. The team that generates content for us has remained almost, the count has remained just flat, and we have actually increased the content volume by 20x over the last 3 years, and I cannot emphasize enough how that has really transformed the way that we have transformed, not only from a speed and quality, but also in terms of outcomes on our marketing campaigns. This is a quick case study about what we have done using the Netcore co-marketer solution. See, we use the whole Netcore, the smart tech stack in terms of all the direct marketing channels that we have. We have app push, web push, SMS, email, WhatsApp, RCS, and also we use the Netcore platform to basically push audience to our ad tech platforms like Google, Facebook, whatnot, right? But in what we use, the channels that we use primarily to drive engagement on our platform is our app push and web push channels. What we have managed to do with the co-marketing tool is to be able to customize content for app push and web push, for our users, and we've been using this tool since January, and we have seen great results, especially when it comes to providing content to the user in a customized manner. So, just a quick introduction about Bajaj Markets. We are part of the Bajaj Finserv Group. We are a financial services platform business, and we basically do loan sell basically disburse loans, cards, insurance, investments, and as well as e-com. We have just joined the ONDC network, and we are doing all this business purely online, different from our sister concern Bajaj Finance. So some challenges that we were facing, and I would like to emphasize certain aspects in terms of the issues that we were facing out here. We were so engagement. I would purely talk about CTR. What happens typically is that when you can actually get very comfortable with the volumes of uh, app push that you want to send on a daily basis, but and it can actually have a large impact in terms of reduction of CTRs, as you receive multiple notifications. But if you keep changing the content and make it very specific to the user, you can actually generate high levels of CTR, and that's what we were having problems with. And of course, personalization is always an issue with all kind of communication out here, and some in terms of and also the efficiency of the copy that we needed to change on a regular basis. So what happened? We were actually quite excited when Co-Marketer as a tool, as a service came up on the Smartech tool. It actually reduced our content operation stack dramatically. The power of creating the content directly moved to the campaign manager instead of the content manager. And in fact, it became such an interesting and easy to use tool that the content writer actually gets his ideas or on how to basically craft communication using the co-marketer tool. And the best part about the co-marketer tool, and I cannot emphasize this enough, it basically d- uh, relies on the data that you generate, your users generate, and your users engage with, and specific to the product. So it helps you uh, create content which is very specific to the segment that you're targeting as well as the users you are targeting. And it can be and it was also helpful because we are a marketplace. We have to basically create uh, app push content for multiple products, app push as well as web push content. And we could actually go about changing the content type and the specifics to the particular product. And what you see out here is a simple screenshot of how the notifications were actually planned previous to uh, prior to the way that we were running the campaigns, and how co-marketer helped us craft communications specific to the user. What you can see out here, and if you guys uh, get to use the co-marketer tool, it all provides multiple options for us in terms of what copy uh, to select and how it can drive a certain engagement score. The engagement score obviously is dependent. It's dependent upon what's the outcome of the app push or notifications at the past, and basis that you can go about changing the copy for each one of those campaigns. What this did was that it increased click-through rates, and actually it improved click rates dramatically for many of the categories where we are not typically focused on in terms of writing, crafting really good copies, and helped us generate leads, increase leads on a month-on-month basis. Mind you, in the organic channel space, um, even a 1 to 2% increase in volumes at a very millions of users can have a great impact on reducing CAC as well as COA for your campaigns. Now, while we have said all this, we are talking about close to about a few millions plus when the campaigns go out, and it helps us control our CAC as well as COAs for our product conversions at the down funnel. Now, while we are using Co-Marketer as a tool, and I believe the Netcore team is also going to extend this for not only app push and web push, they are also planning to do it for other channels like WhatsApp, RCS, and SMS. And I hope that that those functionalities come, and it can help us drive more better outcomes for those channels as well, where we do millions and millions of campaigns on a daily basis. And that's about it from my end. This is all about co-marketer, very specific to it. Uh, we have been working with Netcore over the last 6 to 7 years. I've also seen how the product has undergone multiple transformations, and I think they have been a very good and very supportive partner over these years as we have scaled our business. That's about it from my end. Thank you so much. I am open to questions, and over to you, Sridhar.
Perfect. Thank you. So maybe we'll take the questions on chat, and Sid is going to be around answering these questions as well on chat. So please do drop your questions on chat and we'll get them answered. So that brings me to the next speaker and why I paused there is because this is a brand which is creating problems in my family. And that's all because every month I just go and purchase a sneaker from their brand. And this is VegNonVeg, and we have the head of ecom, Sumit Gupta, with us. And if I need to talk more about VegNonVeg, I think these are the first multi-brand sneaker and streetwear stores in India, right? So over to you, Sumit, and please do your magic.
Okay, hi everyone. This is Sumit. I head the e-commerce business for VegNonVeg, and I'm super excited to join this event. And thank you everyone for joining here with us. So before I speak about VegNonVeg, I want to know how many people here are sneaker lover and follow of our brand.
There are almost 5, 6 people who have already raised their hands, Sumit. And please add me to it.
Where I see quite a lot of people already know the brand. I think probably you guys are going to relate to what I'm sharing today. So, VegNonVeg is a multi-brand sneaker boutique started in 2016, and it's just last month when we celebrated our 9 years of success. And VegNonVeg is the first brand to drive the sneaker and streetwear culture in India, and we are a community-led uh, culture to commerce brand. And if I talk about how non-veg has evolved in last 9 years, I would say from a sneaker boutique to now it is evolved to a multi-dimensional lifestyle brand. Yes, so talking about the name veg non-veg, I mean, a lot of people think that veg non-veg is something which resonates to a food brand. But likewise, as Apple has nothing to do with apples, veg non-veg has got nothing to do with food. So the name veg non-veg is amalgamation of two different tastes and preferences coming from its co-founder Abhineet and Ananth. So Abhineet is a full core, hardcore non-vegetarian lover, and Anand is a vegetarian. And same goes with their sneaker choices, wherein Anand is more inclined towards tech-infused sneakers, modern age sneakers, and Abhineet is more towards old school retro vibe sneakers. Yeah, and that's how the name veg non-veg. They brought up the name veg non-veg. Okay, so talking about how we joined our hands with Netcore about a year ago, we took a step back to understand what kind of audience we are speaking to, right? And at Veg Non-Veg, our customers aren't just one type. We have sneakerheads who uh, exactly know what drop they want. We have people with aspiration to buy their first pair of sneakers. We have others who want to look stylish for an upcoming event or occasion. And at the same time, we also saw that there is a huge growth in terms of sneaker culture in India. It was growing very fast. And more people were going, more and more people were getting introduced to it. And it was not only limited to a niche community where we started with, right? And that's where we thought that we need to, we need a tool which can help us with better segmentation and reach out to the customer based on their preferences. And that's where we partner with Netcore to make our attention marketing more personalized and data driven. So, talking about our objective with Netcore, of course, our primary objective was to use AI to automate our marketing communication. Then segment our customers better based on their behavior preferences, and personalize our communication so that we can talk to each person the way they want to be spoken to, right? Now talking about content personalization, so Veg Non-Veg is a brand which never believes in spray and pray method. We have always believed in sending out right content pieces to the right customer at right time, and that's how the need for segmentation came in, and Netcore helped us to drive that segment, and to send the right communication to right segment, right? Also, I mean, in today's D2C world, what we have seen is almost 90 to 95% customers engagement happens over mobile, and that's where Netcore has actually helped us to. I mean, the templates which Netcore has is very mobile friendly, I would say, and that helps us to improve the engagement and interactions over our different channels which we use through Netcore. Coming on to campaign optimization, I think it's about A/B. Talking about A/B testing, Netcore has helped us to understand about what subject line works, and what is the exact time when we should trigger a campaign. So the A/B testing here was like we tested what subject line is getting us the maximum CTRs or open rates, and simultaneously also we were able to figure out via different channels that what is the right time to send a message so that we get maximum delivery rates. What is the time wherein our customers are interacting most with our messages, right? And also at the end, I think Netcore has helped us to stay, stay ahead of the policies of respective channel, and our spam rates are less than 0.5%, which is above the industry benchmark. And that's where I think Netcore has helped us into our content personalization. So these are a few of the campaign examples what we have done with Netcore. Number one is your AI-based affinity segment. So at VegNonVeg we have multiple brands, and in each brand there are multiple franchises. So we have been able to make we created affinity-based segments on these franchises. We can make color based affinity segments, and there are a number of scope when it comes to AI based affinity segments, and the affinity segments has actually helped us to maximize our engagement, maximize our conversions over through our different piece of content and communication channels. The second one you can see is the user journey. It's a wish list user journey wherein you can see that the subject line is personalized, and you can see the email body also personalized, right? And this is one of the most highly converting user journeys for us, wherein this email also helps you to dynamically pull the products from the customer's wish list, right? The third one you can see campaign on WhatsApp, which was done on again AI-based color affinity segment, which was one of the outperforming overall campaign for us. So there were a few campaign example, and of course we have done a lot, and there is a lot which we are going to do further with the tool. Moving on to some numbers. So when we started, with Netcore, we started with very scratch. Before that, we were not, working much on retention marketing. But after starting just in a month, we started seeing 1% revenue contribution coming from our retention efforts. And slowly and gradually, when we got into much more deeper insights, segmenting the customer better, creating good content, understanding our customer behavior and everything, right? So we saw within 6 months that our revenue contribution increased from 1% to 6%. So that was a great achievement within a very short span of time. Talking about marketing email CTRs, when it comes to a premium brand like us, wherein we have a AOV of 10,000, our CTRs for our marketing email communication have been 3%, which is above the benchmark set by any other premium brands. And similarly, we saw improvement in our overall revenue through AI-based affinity segment when it comes to WhatsApp channel. So, throughout our total revenue, 67% of the revenue came from affinity-based WhatsApp segment, which was I mean, kind of a win-win campaign for us. And yeah, also, I mean, we achieved 70% higher open rate using AI-driven affinity-based email segments. Right. And yeah, so talking about our partnership with Netcore, I think last 1 year it has been quite an insightful session. And we have learned what time to, reach to our, what is the right time to reach to our customers, to create right segments, to reach out, with the right content pieces, right? And with the CSM team, I think, I mean, VegNonVeg is a kind of brand which is, very much trendsetter when it comes to content creation, and that with, in partnership with the CSM team, they strategically help us to maximize on our marketing efficiency there. And in last 1 year, throughout whatever we had invested over the tool, we saw 16% growth in our ROI. And with this, I think looking forward to grow further and beyond this. And I would like to thank the Netcore team for having such a wonderful journey with us. Thank you, Varun. That's all my time.
So that brings us to the most exciting part of today's event. Edge 2025 started as a discussion in a boardroom in Netcore with this as an idea. And it was a brainchild of so many people in this organization. But if there has to be someone who is the clear hero of this event, I would say it's Kedar, who is our chief product officer. And over to you, Kedar. We just want to see your magic happening.
Thanks a lot, Praveen. Thanks, Siddharth. Thanks, Sumit. Uh, I'll quickly take over and talk about some exciting things that I'm passionately involved in. So, good afternoon, everyone. We are all familiar with the buzz around LLMs, and most of us, like the poll indicated, are possibly using tools like ChatGPT, Gemini for generating contents, possibly writing blogs, possibly even ad copies. And I'm happy to see that there are a bunch of pilots also in execution. I think it's time after the overall explosion that happened in this space. This is just too fascinating and sometimes really overwhelming. But let's look at how we are innovating on some of these, right? So while most of us are using the foundational models for basic capabilities, I think the real I would say real impact comes when there are specialized LLMs. And what I mean by specialized LLMs is the large language models that are fine-tuned on your specific data, right? Because we all know OpenAI, Gemini, the large LLM models, they are trained from everything from healthcare to even possibly astrophysics, right? But what it doesn't know is your brand context, historical campaigns that you have run, their performances, insights about your users, right? And in absence of this data point, the real impact kind of stays a distant dream, and which is where Netcore comes in. We are able to actually take these models and fine tune them on a industry level data. And in addition to that, most critical is brand specific data, right? And when I say brand specific data, it is user behavior data that we collect on brands behalf. It also involves all the historical campaigns, their performances, and overall CTRs, open rate, conversion rate that we have seen for you as a brand. And then what happens is these LLMs are able to then personalize and generate content that truly resonate the brand's overall performance metrics, right? And that's where it is able to move the needle. The real challenge is not just generating text. The real challenge is actually the context, brand context. And that's where we are able to make the differentiation. And I think some of you would have clearly seen how Bajaj and VegNonVeg have seen significant uplift using some of our content generation capabilities. That's because the entire content generation is tuned and trained on the brand context. right? And we are not stopping there. We will see some exciting demos where we are taking a agentic route at this, right? So how are agents different from general LLMs? I think agents are autonomous or semi-autonomous software entities that are able to learn, decide, and act on data, right? Rather than just answering your queries or generating content for you, these agents are fairly autonomous at taking actions on some of the tasks that are given. And we'll see some very exciting demos where these agents really come to life, right? And the cutting edge of agentic AI, right at the pinnacle, is the multi-agent systems. And this is fairly new. Gartner calls it mass multi-agent systems. It's fairly new and it is very sophisticated. But that's where the real magic is, right? Rajesh touched upon this during his presentation. He called this as agent collective, right? Multi-agent system is basically where multiple agents kind of come together to accomplish a task, and it has clear advantages over and above standalone agents or single agent systems almost in everywhere, right? Not just competition across industries. At least we are seeing only siloed agents or single agent systems. Where multi-agent systems truly outshine is by bringing in specializations, right? So when you have a bunch of agents coming together, they naturally bring their own specialties. And I'll give you an example. For instance, I am possibly great at doing product, right? Whereas somebody from my team who is great at sales is leading sales, right? And Praveen possibly great at global customer support, which is where he's heading global customer support for us. So that's what I mean by specialization. And this also helps in reducing hallucination. I think a lot of us would have possibly burnt our hands at some point with hallucination, where if you push some of the LLMs against the wall, they start admitting things that don't exist, right? They just give in to whatever you ask them to admit, right? But when you actually bring in specialization, when you curtail the amount of data that these agents are trained on, that's how you reduce hallucination. And lastly, parallelization, right? So when there are a bunch of agents working together, I think you naturally get speed. And talking about speed, in fact, this is not just limited to large language models. What we are also able to do is then implement a bunch of smaller language models so that there is a lot more speed, lesser hallucination, and these agents come together to accomplish an objective, right? And we'll see some of these in action, but this is fairly cutting edge. And this is what Rajesh was also talking about. We call it agent collective, right? Where let me touch upon a few agents that we have. For instance, the segment agent is able to curate deeper segments at scale, and the segment agent further has access to our deep learning models, which are then able to do affinities, propensities, churn prediction, a lot of other predictive models are available to the segment agent so that it is able to curate these segments at a level which otherwise are humanly impossible, right? Think of hundreds of segments being created for every single campaign, right? Micro segments, segments at persona or even user level. Similarly, you will see in a demo that just follows my presentation, an insight agent that proactively surfaces insights for you. Imagine a data scientist available for you at your disposal whenever you need it. And you can query him for insights like, hey, which are my best campaigns? What has been unique about these campaigns, right? What made these campaigns truly work? At the same time, why certain campaigns didn't work, right? What should I do to improve performance on certain campaigns? And not just campaigns, these insights could be around your user journeys, your user behavior, or app or web performances or conversion also, right? Similarly, there is a scheduling agent which identifies best channel of engagement, best time of engagement, and actually, this is where the execution level also comes in, right? This scheduling agent goes and schedules those hundreds of campaigns on your behalf without you having to navigate through complex UIs and clicking a lot of drop downs and CTAs, right? Uh, the best and the heart of the system is actually the co-marketer. And Siddharth was passionately talking about co-marketer, but he's the brain which orchestrates all these agents, right? He's the master orchestrator who brings together all these agents, right? So you talk about content creation, the co-marketer brings in the content agent. You talk about entire campaign creation, the co-marketer gets all the agents into action to create a campaign. And we'll see some of this in action, but this is very exciting for us to kind of pull through. Lastly, how is this different? Like I said, these agents are trained for specific task and trained on your domain specific data, right? And all of this, like somebody also was asking on the chat, this is not a separate tool. This is not a separate product. This is all integrated as part of your marketing workflows inside Netcore, right? So like you used to manually create a lot of these campaigns, now you have a multi-agent workflow that creates this just by giving one simple objective. And soon I'll call upon my team member Parth, who will give you a demo in like next 30 minutes, 30 seconds. I'm so bad. Next 30 seconds quickly, right? And what this means for you as a brand is 100x more segments, which you don't have to create. AI creates on your behalf. Campaigns that are faster to launch and deploy, and convergence, like you saw Bajaj and VegNonVeg talking about convergence that are not just 10% better, we are talking about 10 times better conversion and effort that is possibly just fractional of the manual effort that you would have otherwise spent. With this, I think enough of talk. Let's see some of these agents in action. And I'll call upon my team member Parth to give you some of these demos, and I'll see you again in short while.
I'll quickly touch upon a few things. First, by the way, thanks Kedar for simplifying the entire course of AI journey and setting a good context as to what are we going to see right now. So I'll be touching upon two things. First are the two agents that Kedar correctly talked about. One is Insight Agent. One, we are going to talk about how content and agent has been matured onto our panel. And now we have gone a step ahead from creating text to now actual HTMLs. And lastly, we'll be looking at how all of these agents collectively work together. Now, starting with Insight Agent. Like Kedar correctly mentioned, think of it as a data analyst sitting on your panel at a click of a button. You can ask it to actually perform a lot of analysis, which ideally would have taken a lot of man hours, a lot of CSV downloads, compiling all the CSVs, applying numerous filters, and then pointing out these anomalies. Now, for example, here I've executed a very simple flow. I've just asked it what were the top 5 email campaigns, and I also wanted to know what was the time correlation and other factors that contributed for those campaigns to be the top 5 campaigns. Now, we believe that with co-marketer, we don't want it to be a black box. Now, to build that trust, for you to be in loop as to understanding what is it exactly thinking, first we justify the rationale. It'll explain, the insight agent will explain you what is it that it has probably looked at, what is the formulas it has applied, and that is when it compiles an entire insight. Now, this is just a summary, and we don't stop at just stating the obvious, which is looking at data and pointing out the patterns or anomalies. We actually go a step ahead by actually pointing out what is working for you, what is not working for you. A few things such as subject line pattern, which subject line pattern has worked the best, where is an improvement that might be required, what is the timing correlation for your success, what are the strategies that you should ideally be applying, and the next steps. Now, this in turn helps you to understand that every campaign possibly that you are going to send out after the analysis be the best campaign that you send out. Now, of course, we don't want to go reverse of evolution by just giving text output. So we also give you an entire graphical representation for a quick consumption of entire data. And this is overall what Insight Agent does. Now we'll look at maybe more of its capabilities once we move into multi-agent model. For now, I'll take you through another agent that we already have on our UC. Now, we already know it requires a lot of time and effort for our creative designers to create an entire template, right? While we have a very easy to use unified content editor with drag and drop, we have tried to go a step ahead. And that step ahead was essentially now all you have to do is tell through a prompt what is the objective of a template that you want to achieve. And like Siddharth said, pretty much he covered a lot of stuff. We actually look at how the content has been performing. You saw the subject line insights. We compile all of these insights. We see the entire campaign performance and we recommend you the best templates that you can possibly put out. Now, we realize that while creativity is subjective, creatives aren't. A lot of brands have strict guidelines that they have to follow. And which is why every template that is getting generated out here is going to be according to your brand assets. What I mean by brand assets, it's going to be according to your brand colors, uh, font styles, font sizes, buttons, and so on. Right. Now, in interest of time, I'll quickly jump onto how these agents essentially function together in multi-agent model. Now, ideally, before I get into this, I'll quickly touch upon the problem statement that it can solve. Traditionally, if I'm not wrong, we have an entire army of marketers that sit together to get one campaign rolling out. That army consists of one data analyst, probably a few creative designers, an entire CRM execution team, and so on. And this is exactly what we wanted to simplify or make our marketers' lives easy. While Netcore is exposed to a lot of data, we saw that many a times while you were doing a very huge campaign, you used to miss on these data points. And how can we exactly incorporate it? So here I have just, as a marketer, defined a simple problem statement of I realize that it's month of Feb and I want to do a Valentine's campaign, right? And exactly one of the statements that Kedar made, we make sure that there is no hallucinations or assumptions. And which is why co-marketer asks you a question just to ensure that there is no hallucination or no assumptions on which the campaign is getting made. Now, let's just say me as marketer, I only have answers to few of the questions that have been posed, right? So I have just defined what is the objective of my campaign here. I want to boost my sales through for perfumes, and I have defined what is the exact schedule I want. And you will see all of these agents two of the agents that we saw, all of these agents rack their entire expertise onto here and answer each of these questions individually. Starting from the question of who do I send this campaign to? To answer that question, we have an entire segment agent that comes into picture. Then we'll move on to content agent that will tell you exactly what do I send to these people. Then you will have co-marketer looping in your scheduler agent, which will tell you when to send this campaign to people. And finally, you will have an entire campaign report that will get generated. By the way, we understand the importance of human being in loop, which is why we have two modes. We have a planning mode, which we are looking at right now, the autonomous mode. What we do here is essentially help and brainstorm with the customer as to how can we reach the highest possible level of personalization while doing a campaign broadcast, right? Now I'll quickly touch upon or maybe take you through individual of these responses. Right here, firstly, we'll be running through the segment agent, right? Now, we might have seen Sumit talk about affinities and propensities. Those are essentially the base of psychographic or predictive segmentation that we have. Agent ensures and uses all of these affinities and propensities to create micro segments. And you have content, then you have insight agent that comes up with an entire analysis of what is going to work for this segment, what is the time that is best going to work for it, and distributes this with help of co-marketer to each of these agents. So everyone has now a set of instructions to follow. The co-marketer then moves ahead and gives you content curated for each of these segments. I'll quickly point out one thing. For example, if it's a segment about premium perfume enthusiasts, you'll see the subject line focusing on VIP access, even the app push and WhatsApp. Whereas when we talk about a segment, let's say loyal beauty shoppers, it is going to create a content that gives a feeling of we are rewarding the user for being a loyal customer. And this is the level of personalization apart from first name personalization that we are trying to achieve. Then you have scheduler agent that comes in and exactly knows which campaign should STO be enabled, which is send time optimization for us, which campaign will be scheduled from which to which date, what is the time it'll be going live, and so on. Once you have an entire report, we also have an execution flow. In interest of time, I'll quickly touch upon execution flow. The entire expectation of execution flow is the human is always in loop, because we understand there are multiple set of breakpoints and approvals that are required. And which is why in multi-agentic system that we are designing, we'll have an entire system of looping the customer in, giving them the rationale, and then taking approval for performing any of these steps. Right? So you have segment specialists which will first come in and give you an entire thought process of what exactly it is going to do. Only when you ask or continue, that is when it will actually create these smaller segments. We have also addressed the problems of real life workflows, like actually giving a creative brief. Data driven content might still not lead or yield to the human level feel into the content, right? Which is why we have an entire set of questions that are ideally made to replicate the entire creative brief that you usually give to your agencies. Once that is done, the content agent will give you HTMLs that we saw. It will give you all the titles, descriptions, everything, which is an entire template. Then you can actually approve the content. Now, for channel sensitive or revenue cost sensitive channels like WhatsApp, we have approval system that involves even the third party like Meta. When you click on approve, the point that Kedar made of parallel working, the content agent sends the templates to Meta for approval. Meanwhile, we don't stop the work. We still have scheduler agent that will make the entire campaign, that will rack their heads and brainstorm with you. Once you have the entire schedule ready and the report is generated, you can expect on one click of a button an actual campaign draft that will be created onto your panel. All you have to do is test and publish. We also have an entire error system that will be inbound to actually bridge the gap between for reality and execution, right? Which means, let's just take for an example that I'll address here, is one of the campaigns was qualified or approved by Meta, but in a different category, which means it might have cost implications, and we will make sure that we loop in a human for an action to be taken. Similarly, if one of the templates is rejected, again, we will indicate if a user has to be looped in. I know I had to rush with this. I'll quickly take a pause. I'll hand it over to Kedar again to take you through few of the very exciting news that we have. And I'll take up all the questions in the chat if required.
Great. Thanks, Parth. You are almost as fast as the AI out there. Yeah, so Content Agent live, already live, being used by a lot of our customers and seeing value out of it. The Inside Agent goes live today, as I just spoke, and the multi-agent workflow, right? Entire end-to-end campaign strategy and campaign deployment. We are opening up for beta. Again, if you are excited about this, reach out to our support teams or CSM. But that's one of the most exciting things that we have on the Netcore side. And stay tuned. If you thought this was exciting, there are a lot of agentic AI stuff we are also doing on the Unbox search and merchandising side, and you'll see some of those demos in sessions that follow. But over to you, Praveen, again.
So next in the session, we do have our speakers coming from Google, and Swayam, over to you for the fireside chat.
I'm the host for the session, and with me are two of the brightest brains in the industry. We have Varun Mishra from Google, who is a AI specialist at Google. And we also have Swayam Behera from Netcore, who is AI lead at Netcore. In quick 20 seconds, maybe Varun, I'll let you each of you introduce yourself. We'll do the conversation forward from there.
Sure. Thanks, Kedar. Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Before I give my introduction, just one point. Kudos to the team for putting together such a great event. It's great. I've been hearing the sessions. Kudos to the team. Yeah, for everyone, my name is Varun Mishra. I hope I'm audible and visible. I am an AI specialist at Google Cloud. I work very closely with Kedar, with Swayam, And a lot of agentic stuff that you see is something that, Kedar and Swayam and all of us have been trying to work and make it live for you guys. So yeah, anything AI, I think we have a great partnership with Netcore in terms of how Netcore has a vision, and it's sort of the industry leader in this space. And it's happy to work with Kedar and Swayam and the extended team. So yeah, good to be here. Over to Swayam.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Varun, and welcome to this event also. Hi, my name is Swayam, and having more than 20 years of experience in the industry. Very passionate about platform engineering, how exactly things will scale in cloud. But when we talk about AI, I'm also learning as the entire world is learning. Very excited to see how exactly changes are evolving, and every day, every week, we see new changes are coming. So we are kind of having a great partnership with our customers, our partners like Google, to co-build few items and trying to catch up with all the innovations that are happening so that we can build some nice products, nice solution, and give it in the hand of our customers.
Great, great. Thanks, Swayam. Thanks, Varun. Varun, so let's kickstart with you. And since you have the Google lens, right? How do you see AI being adopted by brands today, particularly within marketing teams? And if you could also touch upon what are some cool things that are coming from Google's side, especially around Gemini, that marketers should be excited about.
Absolutely, Kedar. So, what we've seen the trend go is from AI adoption to marketing, which is maybe early last year. It is now being integrated into workflows more, right? That means every step where brands are trying to focus, they move from just content creation into maybe hyper personalization, getting predictive insights for relevant offers, maybe. We saw a very wonderful demo from Parth from your team, and some of that, like that's something that everyone is talking about, but maybe no one is able to do. And I think that is something which is giving an edge to actually the brands and the marketers, really, to see how this major adoption can not only go beyond creative generation, but it can also optimize speed, diversify the asset creation, and then finally, of course, make sure that hyper personalization is really achieved between segments, between customers, so on and so forth. uh, when we talk about Gemini, uh, you've worked with Gemini, Swayam, and you guys have checked out Gemini, right? So the good part about Gemini is the 2.5 models that have come out is really key, right? It you can start from generating content, which is something that we started last year, but now it has gone into creative asset creation. You can now create videos just from text, or maybe even better videos from images. There's campaign optimization which is available. AI overviews in search, right? That is something that you would also see in Google these days. There's performance upgrades that is available, and then there are tools and APIs coming out like virtual try-ons, which are basically the suite of AI creative tools that have come out. So there's a lot of focus on empowering marketers to be, for them to be more efficient and more data driven. In that way, they can achieve more.
Great, super. I think personally, I'm also excited about some of the very exciting multimodal capabilities that are coming up. And with that, Swayam, I understand these are a lot of cool innovations, but I think not everyone has possibly the tech strength to pull this off. So how is, let's say, your team is helping marketers in leverage some of these capabilities without, let's say, necessarily doing all the heavy lifting? Can you touch upon what kind of stack are we putting together at Netcore so that marketers can readily leverage some of these capabilities?
Sure, Kedar. Actually, I must say that myself, as well as I believe all of us within Netcore, are genuinely excited about what agentic AI brings into the table. And not only generative AI, I believe we are going ahead with more and more additional items where we don't want to only generate content or generate image. We also want to take actions on behalf of our end customers based on their understanding of their goal, or based on the intent. We want to take actions on that. Coming to our stack or the full stack thing that we have put up, the security and privacy is at the core of any business that we, in fact, if we are trying to build something today, security and privacy is something at the core. But more than that, we have a very full stack, smart and scalable architecture that we have put. And we really want to create a trust layer because people, whenever they are trying to experience something on the LLM side, they always try to think like whether I'm getting, how exactly it is giving me that reasoning, why it has given me this response, why it has not given me in a different way. So we are really trying to put up a trust layer which is quite smart and intelligent and scalable. We're also really excited about the things that we are launching. In fact, while Parth was showing the demo, I must say that this insight agent today, it is available to everybody, and we are successfully launching in the ACE event, which is now going to be running in the companion mode of the marketer. And basically it will understand all the uh, historical events, historical data of how exactly the end users are interacting with the brand, as well as how exactly they are interacting with the channel events. Based on that, we are going to share the insights. And when we go ahead with the next step, we will also try to uh, introduce a lot of additional agents like segment agent, content agent, everything part of the multi-agentic flow. So the goal with all of this is very simple, Kedar. We just want to make it very easy, easily adaptable by our end users, plug in into the existing panel, existing product that they are using, and so that the adoption will be very fast and they will feel like they have got their own peer. It's kind of a, in the engineering world we say it is vibe coding, it's kind of a vibe marketing that they will have with the help of all this multi-agentic workflow.
Great, great. And while all of this sounds exciting, Varun, I think every time we have tried to do some of these demos, the first question, or at least amongst the first three questions that we have got, is usually around data privacy and intellectual property or copyright of the content being generated. Right? Can you touch upon how does Google address these concerns for our users? And Swayam, if you could add anything further to it, that would also be great.
No, absolutely, Kedar. I think this is a genuine concern, right? All of us, including if we are the consumers, we are also equally concerned about our privacy. So data privacy is a top priority at Google, and I know this value actually is common between Google as well as Netcore, right? So all our AI services within Google comply with Google's privacy, like robust privacy policies, right? That means protecting customer data is really important for us. User data will remain always theirs. We will not use their data to actually train something or train our models or put that out anywhere for anyone else to use it. That is number one. We go one step ahead. For any intellectual property and copyright issues, if there's anything that you create, for example, using Google models, Gemini models, and if there is an indemnification, that you face, Google will actually assume the responsibility for it, right? So that's one differentiator clearly that Google puts out. Uh, and there's something called a synth ID. What Google has done is we've come out, and it's a DeepMind technology, and we can read about this. It's something called a synth ID. And we've made it basically open source. So this is a technology by which watermarks can be identified on AI generated content, and this not only will lead it back to who has created it, but clearly tell that this is an AI created by XYZ model, XY, or maybe XYZ team or XYZ project. So there is definitely guardrails in place. What we have to ensure is we use the right models, we use the right platform and the partners like we do at Netcore.
Yeah. So Varun talked about guardrail, and that is something, basic fundamental for us also when we are building something as a trust layer and trying to access the Gemini models. Guardrail is something that is not an afterthought for us. That is the primary thing that we always consider, and that's why, as I said earlier, security and privacy is something like very core to the foundation architecture that we have put it. when it comes to the AI generated content also, we are also very careful, because whatever content we are generating or whatever pattern we are trying to share with the LLM model, we by giving some kind of few shot learning, whatever content we are generating, we are also not straight away going ahead and use it. We always create transparency, share how exactly it will look like when the end user will get it, and how exactly our customers can also verify it. Based on that only, we create the content and we normally go ahead with the campaign execution. So I believe security is given. I am sure that a lot of tools and technology will also further evolve, and as and when they will evolve, we will try to tie it up with our foundation architecture.
Got it. Understood. So just to put it in simple terms, and Swayam, Varun, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what I understand is the takeaway for the brands is whatever creative we generate, right? They can be completely worry-free, that they are free from any copyrights. That's first. Second, they can be assured that the human is always in loop and he's able to kind of validate and approve of what goes out in a campaign. That's second. And third, they can be sure that none of their data is being sent for any training for any other client or any other AI model, or possibly any other LLM. Is that correct? All three.
Absolutely, absolutely,
Yes,
absolutely.
that's correct, Kedar.
Superb, superb, great. Varun, one quick one. So, in fact, a lot of this is fundamentally changing how shoppers are shopping. In fact, what we have seen is there is a significant drop in a lot of media website traffics, right? And that's because LLMs are now aggregating content and answering content in a very different way, as opposed to users going to websites and consuming information. And I think Gartner predicts eventually this will happen to shopping as well, where the shoppers on the website are not just going to be users, but also AI engines, right? Essentially agents on behalf of customers who go and do shopping. Potentially 20% of website shoppers would be actually AI agents. So how is Google viewing these shifts, and how are you enabling brands to adapt to this change? And what I mean by adapt is all of us used to actually discourage robots from visiting websites. Now here the robots are actually shopping, right? So you have to, instead of discouraging, encouraging robots or AI engines to shop. How is Google doing that?
No, that's a great observation, Kedar. It is actually a trend that is, it's something that is aligning with the trends. What you're saying is absolutely true, and this is something that we are also closely monitoring. If you see the things like AI overviews in search, this is actually something that comes up very often. And when we say actually agents doing the shopping, think about how many robots can actually shop more, right? You can have much more traffic, so you can see it as in positive light. How we are actually enabling brands to thrive in such a scenario is actually by making sure that there is optimization for agent interactions, right? Now think about 20 or 200 or 2000 robots talking to each other. Now there should be some optimization in this space, right? You will have to embrace conversational commerce. It will go beyond just saying, hey, I want to buy something. It will have to be more richer. The multi-turn dialogues will have to be more personal in that space. You'll have to also make sure that we are proactive about the engagement, right? The kind of engagement we want customers to be with, what is the kind of engagement that a person would like to do with their agents, and then so on and so forth. And then finally developing open standards. If you recently heard MCP, A2A, right? All of this is taking the leap. ADK, the latest from Google. In fact, we today made it, we donated that to Linux Foundation today itself. So, this is becoming more and more critical. The way we standardize these tools, open tools across, the ecosystem of many providers, will be how we'll be able to make marketers more and more comfortable, as well as streamline all of these processes together.
Great, great. And so I'm assuming we are also building the Netcore stack on top of some of these global standards like MCP and ADK and A2A protocols.
Absolutely, absolutely. Our partnership specifically with Google, if you see, it is truly collaborative. And recently, I'm proud to say that we have been awarded the 2025 Business Applications Partner of the Year, specifically in the emerging industry category. So if you talk about the agentic AI, yes, we are really, uh, in fact, I would say that not only agentic AI, there are many other innovative solutions that can be powered up by Gemini, and we are already using it. Uh, when we talk about personalization, we did see a demo. You also showed the slide. We are talking about very curated, individual specific messages going towards the end user based on their interest, based on their behavior, engagement, in fact, or based on the kind of uh, engagement that they have shown with the brand. So we do that at a very high scale, and we are specifically using Vertex AI for that. If you talk about the MCP or the EDK, these are kind of standards that has come very recently. But because of MCP, our speed of delivery, if you see within Netcore also, I'm sure when we are building a product, speed of delivering into the market also matters a lot. And this kind of thing, specifically the MCP concept that we came across and we have implemented, that has actually twofold our speed of execution. We also have, a lot of advanced analytics use cases. In fact, few days back, I was discussing with Varun also, where how exactly we can get insights on a breadth of use cases that we see in our panel. We talk about campaign, we talk about journey, we talk about user path analysis. So what if there is a dashboard available? So Looker is there, and based on Looker insights, it is deeply integrated with BigQuery. So based on that also, we can create a lot of advanced analytics, and they are by default available to all those agents that we are already releasing or they are in our roadmap.
Super. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Swayam. Thanks, Varun. I think this was helpful and insightful for our audience as well.
Thank you, Kedar.
Over to you, Praveen.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So yeah, so now it's demo time, and we want to show some more exciting demos for you. And now we have Ravi Shankar Mishra, who's our senior product manager from Netcore Unboxed, for showing some search related AI innovations as well. So over to you, Ravi.
If we get started, a little shift from we have been discussing marketing, we're taking a leap into search and product discovery, and how Netcore as a company is investing in agents for search and online behavior of customers, right? So like we all see, online shopping isn't broken, right? I think there's a lot of optimization which has happened, but now it's broken for customers, right? Because the customers or the users of these e-commerce sites have become overwhelmed, right? They want a lot of things. They have increasingly become demanding, but they are underinformed, right? Because our retailers have so much catalog, so much fragmented data everywhere. It gives a scope wherein a smarter system which could come in, and there's a lot of discussion happening around autonomous assistants or agents which could come into picture and try to solve for this, right? So we at Netcore and Netcore Unboxed in particular for search and product discovery have been working on product discovery for a very long time now, and we understand that product discovery is something which we want to solve for both users and our retailers too, right? So we are actually working on two sets of agents. One would be shopper facing, which would be more to improve the user experience, wherein a user would be able to search. It will no longer be a one-way communication, rather a two-way communication where the system understands and then suggests product and assists the user in buying the right thing. And the second thing would be a retailer facing agents, which would be more towards driving operational experience, right? So without spending time, I'll just quickly go into one of the demos just to cover here. Like I said, right, the shopper-facing agents would improve on the service. It would personalize the shopping experience for you and give you access to all the information, right? So this will no longer be stick to what you can show on the search listing page or the PDP page. A user would have access to all the information in a single frame, right? And the end goal would then lead to increasing conversion and revenue. Let me show you a live demo on one of our customer sites, right? Equipers is one of our customers who deal with cooking equipments for cooking equipments for restaurants, right? We have set up an agent here, and I would have a set of discussions with the agent, let me say. So for example, you are greeted with a saying custom message, which a retailer can configure saying, I ready to take you with your food service space. What are you looking for? And I can say, let me say, I am starting a cafe, right? Now my agent tries to understand, and it non-personalizes the message saying it's congratulations, what are you particularly looking for? Let me say, I need reach in refrigerator, right? Now what has happened is, while I've made my query saying I'm looking for a reach in refrigerator, the system has understood it. It has shown me a set of reach in refrigerators, but then it's still asking me if I'm looking for anything in particular, whether it's 2-door, 1-door, or 3-door. Let's say I interact with one of the selections, it says 2-door. Now it comes up saying, okay, we are showing you some of the 2-door ones. Are you looking for a top mount and a bottom mount? Assume I'm not sure which of these mounts should I look for. So I can just say, can you compare between top and bottom mount, right? So within the same screen now, my agent is able to tell me that top mount compressors or refrigerators are for bakeries and dusty environments, whereas bottom ones are more for, because they have less maintenance, it is more efficient for kitchens, right? Which is what I'm looking for. So then I can say, I'll go with bottom mount, right? And basis my selection, I would get some options, right? So I can right away add to cart. It would take me to the cart page of the customer. And from there, I couldn't go ahead and add to the information, right? But let's say because I just did not want to buy only one thing, I'm looking for multiple things. So my shopping agent would have the same context and will continue to exist in all the pages, right? Now I can say, okay, I've added this to my cart. What else will I need for my cafe, right? Now, basis my question and understanding that I've already taken equipment, it gives me some more suggestions, right? It could be saying, you may need a coffee brewer, cases, sinks, and things like that, right? But just to spice up the conversation a little bit, what I can do is I can change the language, right? So for example, I'm trying it in French. I'm saying, well, can you suggest me some coffee machines? So now my conversation, I'm moving from English to French, right? And I make the same query here and says, right? And based on my French understanding, although my conversation was in English, my system is able to understand the French and it's able to give me some suggestions, right? Just to give you an example of how a system can help the user more. So now I clicked on a particular product, I landed on the PDP page where I can see the product information, right? What if I'm still not able to decide as to what should I buy, right? Or is this going to serve my purpose, right? So maybe I can say, what is the capacity of this product, right? Now it gives me that information, which was not available directly, saying it is able to brew up to 12 cups of coffee at a given time in a coffee per cycle, right? Now, if this is not meeting my criteria, I can say, do you have products with more capacity? Right? And that's when you would get some examples where this could go up to even 100 cups at a time. And you could go ahead and choose for a particular product and add it to the cart, right? So just in terms of experience. Now, as we were talking about guardrails of this system, so because we would want this shopping agent to be specific to product discovery, I can try another use case. Maybe what I'm trying to do is I'm going to ask this same shopping agent in Thai language, can it file my taxes, right? So I'm going to the agent, I'm saying, can you file my taxes, right? Interestingly, the agent has responded in the language in which the native language you have queried with. And just to give an explanation what the response is, I may give you an explanation where I enter the text in Thai, and the response it actually gave was, sorry, I can't help you with your taxes, but I can help you find information on purchasing equipment for your coffee shop. Right? So that's how the guardrails have been set up. Right? So this is an example of shopping agent, which is live in production and our customers are using it, seen a lot of interaction with the users, and we are seeing lot more increase in conversions and drop in search exit because now customers are able to get what they're exactly looking for and they're no longer lost, right? So they don't no longer have to think how to refine their query, how to produce a query. Instead, they can interact in whatever they want, way they want. They can interact via text, image, or even audio for that matter, right? Quickly moving to my next use case, that is a retailer-facing agent, right? So as I was saying, retailer-facing agents in general is for overall efficiency gain. So we as a product give users a lot of capabilities to do on online configuration, like we can run promotions, banners, facets, redirects, right? But this becomes a massive task for the teams to create these campaigns and go and create individual rules, right? So for solving the same purpose, we have come up with a merchandising agent. Now, what a merchandising agent can do is, based on the campaign or the requirement of an user, we should be able to create the campaigns, right? For example, let's say this is an example for one of our customer who is into kids clothing. I'm going to plan a summer sale event. And I'm saying, okay, I'm going to plan a week-long summer sale event for baby girls' clothes. Can you help me with this, right? Now, our main orchestrator agent, which will be the VP e-commerce agent, would take up this task and say, okay, these are my 4 goals. That is increasing conversions, clearing seasonal inventory, and attracting both new and returning users. Can you reach out to my different agents like analytics agent and merchandising agent and give me information, right? So now the analytics agent, based on the previous year's data and the current data, is able to come and give it insights in terms of what things worked, what are the things which did not work, right? Basis these discussions, my orchestrator agent is then able to reach out to the merchandising agent and say, okay, these are my information. Can you tell me what are you going to do next, right? And then you have a set of suggestions from the merchandising agent. And it says, okay, you know what? We can create campaigns on these 3 things. Are you thinking of any banners which we can also use? So you could upload the banners you want to use, similar to the Copilot thing which Parth was showing, right? Once the banners are uploaded, now the agent comes back into the picture and let's say, okay, come on, this is all we need. Can you come up with the rules? So basis the requirement which we have, which is required to create rules, my merchandising agent then comes up with a set of keywords and the similar keywords. For example, like the query is being made for dresses, but it also can be reflected to summer dresses, maxi dresses, etc. Creates multiple campaigns like promotions, facets, banners, right, which is then used and converted into the required format from our system, right? And then we give you 2 options. One is to download this whole set of rules which is created. You could review it as a human in loop configuration, or if you're happy with how the system is creating these campaigns or promotions, we could directly move it into production side, right? So like you see here, right, the agent is creating multiple rules, which if had to be done from a single user, would have taken at least a couple of days time, right, to think through it, what should the boost value be. And now this agent is converted everything into the rule required, and then I can push the rules directly to the console. Once it is pushed, this will be directly available on the site, and on a given date or time period, you should be able to move ahead with the configuration, right? I think that is all from my end. I think in the interest of time, I'll run quickly. Over to you, Praveen. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Ravi. So that brings us to the last part of our event today. And we have the last 10 minutes of this event where we're going to have the ultimatum being shown, and over to Kedar for the further demos.
Cool. Hi. So I'll be covering the last part of the session, which is just showing you some landmark features that we're working in. So we saw everything that is happening on AI. We'll just quickly now cover what all other things we are building, right? When it comes to a Netcore Cloud, right? And I think the biggest pain point that every marketer has is the content creation. And Parth did cover, right? We have something called as a unified content editor. And as the name would suggest, the unified content editor essentially is a single editor that you would need to create content on any channel, right? And there are some of the pain points that I just wanted to list them down, and I'll quickly jump into showing that to you. It is one, yeah. So one, disconnected tools. There is a different template editor for every channel. The brand guidelines are not met. You have to create a brand guideline again and again for every channel again. So there's a lot of manual dependency that is there. And of course, because of all of this, the man hours that you're actually putting to understand and learn every template editor is taking too much time, right? And let me show you what Netcore's unified content editor would look like. It's a very simple editor. Everything is drag and drop, no manual intervention or coding expertise needed from any market or any user for that matter. And let's say I just want to define a row. I can just quickly drag and drop, define a row. Let's say I want to add any element over here. I can quickly go and add an element, right? Let's say I want to add an image over here, or let's say I want to add a social elements over here. I can quickly go and add them, right? Now, this is a one editor, which is for email that you are seeing right now on the screen. Now, what if I tell you, I just switch a tab and this is for in-app message? It's exactly the same. So you can reuse the elements that you would have used for email or you would have created for email. You can now reuse for in-app message template also. Now, what if I tell you, if you are able to do this, I switch to web message and the exact same template editor shows up, right? So the same thing that you would have done for an email or for an in-app message, you can reuse those elements over here and create a template which is very resonated for this also. The benefit that you see, you don't have to learn a new template again and again. It's the same experience for you to understand, right? And of course, I think Parth covered the AI part. So imagine AI becoming a part of this editor across templates. Right now, it is for web messaging. It's going to be exported to WhatsApp and other channels also. Now, coming to the brand guidelines, right? So you'll be a question that, Bharat, hey, this is cool, but every time I'll have to apply my brand guidelines, right? There is a certain way things needs to be shown. So we have something called as brand kit, right? And let me quickly give you a glimpse of this. And what I'll do is just to give you a view, let's say I actually put down the URL of a website which is called as, let's say, Forest Essential. And I asked Netcore to pick up all the brand elements, the colors, the font, the image of the brand, and load them into the platform. And if you see, as soon as I put the URL, everything has been loaded into the panel itself. And now I can quickly use this to let's say to personalize the experience. And how can I do that? And let me just quickly switch and give a view to it. Let's say this is a pre-created template. I just want to now personalize it to my own template. So what I'll do is I'll quickly apply a theme. I'll go to the theme. I'll apply a theme over here. And if you see, the theme has been applied. Now, let's say I want to switch theme because there are multiple variants to the theme that I can apply over here. So I'll just quickly click shuffle and I'm just shuffling through the theme over here. Now imagine this is for one channel. You can do this because of unified content editor and brand kit superpower across all the channels. So keeping all the template brand guidelines intact, all of this can happen in a very smooth and fast manner. Now, quickly moving to the second part of the presentation, which is the product picker. I think it's one of the biggest announcements that we have done for e-commerce, D2C and retail brands, where it's a very intuitive feature that way. If you see, a marketer has when the sales and when, let's say, there were different types of occasions that would appear, a marketer had to actually put in a lot of manual effort to generate those catalogs or product feeds. Let's take a very simple example for this presentation. It's summertime. I want to now present a product feed to my marketing tool, and I want them to use that product feed to actually send out communications to the user on all the new arrivals that we have for this summer. As a marketer, I would have to first create a manual product feed, create a manual selection, upload the feed to the platform, and then create a content out of it, and then I have to send it. All of that is not required anymore because of Netcore's product picker release. As you can see, one, how to create a feed. So I'll just quickly give you a glimpse. You can choose your catalog, which will be integrated with Netcore Cloud. Using catalog, let's say I can just add a sort. How do I want the product to be sorted? And I can add filters over here. What those filters could be? Those filters could be, let's say, hey, I want the product to be based on the most recent addition to the catalog. So anything which is added beyond 23rd June 2025, I want those only products to be rendered in the catalog. Now, let's say I also want another condition over here saying that I want a product whose let's say title is of a certain value, or let's say a price of a certain value, or they are part of a summer collection over here, right? So you can choose all the elements, so you can add more conditions over here and create a very personalized, intuitive product feed, and then directly go ahead and use the product feed into the while you are creating a campaign over here, right? So let's say I have just landed on, I have created a product feed. I am on my editor and I'm quickly editing the product of the template over here. And let's say I now want to quickly add any element. So what I'll do is I'll quickly pick up a dynamic feed that I just created. That feed is called as edge. I want to now control which elements of the product are being shown over here. I can quickly go ahead and enable those elements, map certain attributes to them, or let's say if I want to add a redirect URL to it, I can also do that. As soon as I click on save, if you see, the element gets personalized. If I want to add a button, I can also add a CTA button to this. Now, this is about product feed where a marketer has a lot of control. But as you just saw that Ravi presented a lot of AI based power that we are coming into the space of e-commerce and D2C. How can you now leverage those same recommendations into your communications, like sending out an email or a WhatsApp with the AI powered recommendations that Ravi just presented? And that's where you can also switch to recommendation, where you will have all your algorithms, Netcore's 10 plus patented algorithm, along with any algorithm custom that you create over and above that, will be listed over here, which you can use to, let's say, render products. So all of that is possible now because of Product Picker, and all of this is possible under the hood umbrella of Unified Content Editor. I'll quickly now take a switch and I'll quickly show it to you that, of course, I just spoke about this channel as an email. What if you can do all of this in WhatsApp also, right? I think creating content on WhatsApp is one of the biggest pain point, but also one of the best performing channel out there in the market today. You can use the same product feed that I just spoke of, either product feed, recommendation, or any collection for that matter, in WhatsApp itself, render it and send out those WhatsApp communications. And this is exclusively only available on Netcore, which you'll be able to do and optimize your communications with. Now, I'll quickly switch to the last part. The second last part, we are releasing or announcing a new channel today, by the way, that we like to call that channel as App Content Personalization. So before that, just one, what were the key problems that marketers faced when it comes to engaging with users inside the app, right? Of course, definitely there are multiple ways to engage with your users outside the app. But what happens when the user comes into the app? As Netcore has been revolutionizing in-app engagement with nudges, with in-app engagements also, we are now releasing a new channel called as App Content Personalization, where you can personalize the experience inside the app basis user behavior, right? And what I'll do is, rather than actually boring you with the slide, I'll quickly give you a glimpse of it. Just before that, just wanted to give a shout out to our new templates that we are bringing in for all the iOS and Android users. These are the new templates, soon will be out. If you could see, there's a collapse scroll, there are multi-image views, and all of this will be made available. No extra charge or anything is needed. It will be part of your current offering. So let's just quickly now give you a glimpse of what we have when it comes to the new channel that I just spoke about. I hope you can see my screen. This is, let's say, I'm a user, I'm on the app, and what I'm doing is I can see two different banners over here, right? Now, what do I do? Let's say I'll quickly go and my bad, I'll just quickly connect myself. Yeah. I think so. Now it should be out. Yeah. My bad for that delay. Yeah. So now what I do is I come onto the app and I go and visit the travel section. I try to book a flight. I don't complete that action, right? As a user, I would always come and book a flight, but I would look for a flight, but I don't complete that action. And I come back into the app. I kill the app and I come back into the app. When I do, if you would now see, is that you will see a banner personalized. The banner that you saw initially, that banner completely changes. Also, now you would see the number of elements that I'm seeing on the screen are different because this is my second visit. I want to explore or expose more elements to Bharat. So I'm personalizing the experience inside the app. Now, let's say, now I'll quickly also take a BFSI example, right? For instance, I was trying to buy car insurance and nobody buys car insurance in the one go. I will always come onto the app. I will see the quotation. I will see, okay, this money, this amount looks good or not, and I'll do some behavior over there. I'll try to see more quotations. I'll install more such apps. But I'll again come back to the app. Now, how can we personalize that experience for the user when I come inside, or let's say personalize the experience for the user inside the app, right? Now, when I visit the insurance section and when I come back into the app, if you would see, and I'm sorry, there's a lag over here, but you would see that the banner has been personalized to insurance, and also the elements that you see on the screen will also be personalized. Please give me 2 seconds. It should just come up on your screen now. So all of this without any effort of you actually going and doing coding, right? Today, if you want to achieve this, you would require a lot of codes or JSON codes to be written. Nothing of those sort needs to be done. All of this is user friendly, where you can just select elements and all of your elements inside the app can be personalized using Netcore Cloud's app content personalization, the new channel that we wanted to talk about. Great. I'll just quickly move to the last part of the presentation. We've done some phenomenal work when it comes to analytics. So we just spoke about the biggest pain point, which is the content creation. We spoke about the new channel that we are releasing. We spoke about brand kit. Now, how do you analyze this data? So we spoke of AI helping us analyze data. Parth gave us a very beautiful presentation where the campaign insight agent actually comes and gives you insights, basis data. Using Netcore Cloud's analytics, you can get a more deeper view into this. And what you see right now on the screen is something we call as total conversion funnel. Simple, it will give you a funnel efficiency ratio. So a very simple use case for you to ponder upon. How many emails do you need to send to get one conversion? Today, you may not be able to get that answer, but using Netcore's total conversion funnel, you will be able to identify that funnel efficiency that, hey, I need to send out 10 emails to get one conversion. Now, how can I optimize this using Netcore's, let's say, content editor, Netcore's recommendation, and make it email content such powerful that I can get, let's say, I can get one conversion within 5 emails itself rather than reaching to a 10 email. So you'll be able to identify and view this over here using Netcore's total conversion funnel efficiency ratio. Second, what we have also done is we've brought in affinities. I think we've spoke a lot at length about affinities, how product affinities are becoming the talk of the town, right? You can use affinities not just to now create segment, you can use it to analyze. Very simple. Which segment do you need to create? Should you create a high affinity segment? Should you create a medium affinity segment or a low affinity segment? How can you get that answer? When you create a funnel, you can create a funnel basis category whose affinity is, let's say, medium, low, high. You understand that, okay, for me, my medium and low users are at a greater number. I should create a segment for medium affinity users and run a very specific campaign for them. All that possibility, you will be able to now visualize the data into funnel itself and take action. Of course, you can take action right here also. If you want to save a segment and move ahead, you will be able to do that. That's how affinities are now becoming a part of the AI, is becoming a part of the analytics itself. Now coming to the RFM, we wanted to quickly ponder or let's say reveal a quick sneak peek. This is going to be released now, where you can now create, well, while you can traditionally you could create RFMs, but now you can see how users are moving from one cohort or one segment to another segment. You'll be able to now see RFM transitions and take actions on this. How can we now, users moving from unsure to rising star criteria, how can we push those users to move to loyal user base, or the users who have moved from loyal to unsure users, how can we now push them back? Not just that, we are also releasing user distribution. So very simple. Today with an RFM, you cannot get an answer that, okay, this is a user base of 100. How many of these users actually did this activity of, let's say, add to cart in last 1 day, 2 day, or 3 day? You cannot get those answers, but with now user distribution, you will be able to see that. The users will be by default bifurcated into the recency of activity or frequency of activity. How frequently have they done? And if you're choosing monetary activity, well, I have just created this on an email as a channel, but you can also use it to identify that, okay, for this whole cohort of RFM that was created, what is the average, what is the price bucket the users are segregated in, and you can save those segments and quickly take an action for it, right? So you'll be able to do that using the RFM transition, and that was one of the reveals that we wanted to do. The second big reveal that we wanted to talk about when it comes to analytics, all of this insights that you are getting, all of this is a dedicated section. What if you have a business KPI? which is called as acquisition. And for that, you have created one RFM, you have created one funnel and one cohort. Now you want all of this together into a single place. You can add those as widgets into custom dashboards. So you'll be able to create your own custom dashboards and moderate your own KPIs. And what if, let's say, as a marketer, you have certain set of KPIs, but as a product manager, you might have different set of KPIs, or as an executive, you might have different set of KPIs. You'll be able to create different dashboards for all of these personas and keep analysis only and only for those personas. So this is how the dashboards would look like. And one thing that we wanted to, I think, highlight, and it's kind of an industry first that we are doing, where you can actually drop down and you will be able to get more different versions of the same analysis, right? For instance, you can get a step view, but what if you want to see a table? You can just quickly click over here and switch with the table. Or if you want to get a conversion chart, you can do that. So for every analysis, funnels, cohort, RFM, or anything of those sort, and whatever variations that come with that analysis, they will by default be available for you over here. So these are some of the big reveals that I wanted to do. I'm sorry, I think we short up with time, but I'll just quickly hand it back to Praveen. If you have any questions, would be happy to answer them in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Bharat. That brings us to the end of Edge 2025. And thank you so much for people who have joined. So one message is very, very straight and it's very strong from the entire world. AI isn't coming, it's already there and it's already conquering a lot of the complex job which marketers have been doing, right? So if there is anything which we can help you out with, please do ping us wherever it is and we will be more than happy to help you out. And with that, have a great day, great week, great month, great year, whatever it is. See you all soon. Thank you so much. And this is Praveen Sridhar signing off.